This is 3:33, 32, it's true. Love, energy, music to release old hurts, which is how we come into the moment. It's true that you can be the one you've been waiting for, if only you are willing to be fully in the moment. And when you are and are willing to actually see yourself to be the one that you were waiting for before, and now you know that you're the one who came here to be set free. You can be the one you transformed into freedom and cause and effect. Don't be dumb, which means to speak ill of yourself or someone else. It's not their fault. You feel that way. You likely just got caught in a not now moment where your energy showed up in the moment where you are, and now you can see in the chat that is where you will have a chance to ask questions, and I'll keep a glance and eye on it so that I can respond in real time. If I can interrupt the stream of consciousness, but I want you to feel free to be able to access should you wish to. And it is true that self-regulation is the key, that we must all claim the right to be able to be the one who mastered ourselves. Self-mastery is how we let the inner guru lead us, goo and brew. Each means something, and to know that Jordy had that because he gave it back to me because I'd left it in his car. And now I cannot find it, but it was all of the ways that a guru is broken down. You found a way to be fully committed. Have you? That's the question. All right, so I'm going to stop singing there. The Wizard of Oz, did you know, is actually a reflection of the legal fiction, where the one whose diction calls the shot, for they are not the ones who will actually pay for the consequences of following through with the edicts or mandates that are issued by the corpse they work on behalf of. I'm going to paint my face. I'm going to get my hair a little bit done because ultimately I'm going to transform right in front of your face. I'm going to use maquillage, makeup, to do so. Maquillage is the French word for makeup, just like je suis is the French word for I am. What do you think it is closest to out of anything? Would you see it to be Jesus, maybe? Ooh, without the eye, for the inner eye of the one that we have idolized outside of ourselves. Whoa, why do I put powder on after I have lightened under my eyes? Because they're dark. And now I say I don't want to put too much on my nose because it's an oilier spot. More sensitive. We have more sensitive spots within our face, and what's not taught is basic. life skills. So we're going to change that. Peaceful inner warriors, united assembly, and all of the ones who are also trying to do the best in their community and who are willing to be the authors of a life worth living and to see the authority that we might tie our identity, and then we see the entity in the identity. Do you see the ID? The identity is the one that didn't want to actually put identity. We didn't want to be the only ones who wrote something, so now I've done it and you can do it too. That's what I say to you because I have lived through a lot after I took myself to the psych ward because I said I'm here to bring peace to this world, not realizing that I was actually only responsible for mine. Don't you see, this time I've changed my focus and I rhyme a lot more because now I'm less concerned of the time. I see it as the multidimensional cake, like we talked about earlier, where we can see that if we actually take the linear way that we've seen life and lived it, so we thought that is where we see the devil is lived backwards, and now we see the inverted reality of the real evidence appearing legit in tomorrow's yesterday. That's what reality is. I came up with that acronym while I walked in Paris. I thought before I left I want to come back with a useful acronym that I could share for reality, because I feel that it is a significant part of our lives and the inner web. We're getting there, don't worry, we'll get there. And now I'm saying it's just the identity. And then I realized that maybe I went on to the wrong room on Zoom because it's listed on Meetup. But no, I don't think it's true. And if it were, I'd have to say, if you want to come on, then I will share the password and you can join me in the gallery. You can share the artistry that you do with your words typed here, but you could do it if you chose to. Join me in the Zoom room. I could share the passcode and I don't know what you'd say, but I know it'd be genius because the genie in us is the part of us that is the magi who has moved the energy of the image to serve us instead of drain us and tame us. You know the story? Oh, maybe I'd like to you, let's sing. Do you think you can handle that mage? The ability to attain objectives or acquire knowledge or wisdom using supernatural means. So what does supernatural mean? Attributed to some force beyond scientific understanding or laws of nature. Well, what are those? Law of nature, regularly occurring or apparently inevitable phenomenon observable in human society. The fundamentals are called the 7 natural laws, which are attraction, polarity, rhythm, relativity, cause and effect, gender, gestation, and perpetual transmutation of energy. I will inadvertently cover these in this book, which took 5 years to write in a month and then edit too. But hey, who's counting? Oh, but you got to enjoy it as of June. And if you've not had your copy issued to you, please do send me an email and I'd love to get you a copy for 25 Canadian. I'd say lawful dollars, but it's fiat currency because we only actually get to give it the value that our faith would let us put our trust in something other than what we actually know to be true, because then we have to trust what the entities would say is true. Here's another section. This one I had to get approval to include, which means I got to interact with Marianne Williamson's office. I don't know if it was her directly, but I hope that it was. And if it was, I'd love to say hello, 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 hello. I have a story there, but I will share it another day. Okay, here she said, our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. This is 185. And fully committed the sacred sojourn of now, this new orderly moment, new orderly world that we have a chance to create in this moment. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, talented, gorgeous, and fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that others won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine, as children do. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we're liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others, which is exactly why I sing and dare to be my authentic self and share truths that others don't like, such as the definition of an endemic, which is a disease or condition regularly found among particular people or in a certain area. An endemic is what we're in. That's what it was planned to be. The end game, endemic. Epidemic. Epi is Greek for upon or above, and demos for people. So what is a pandemic? Pan is Greek for all, and demos for people. All people will suffer from the certificate of vex, IDAI, for the vex, which causes frustration, annoyance, or irritation. The definition, truly. And any who say, I am annoyed by this, I am vexed. Vexed with an E, not A, because I don't know why. The ones who are saying it's with an A are to trial. Drugs by an experimental solution. Hey, did you ever think of that? It's the way we leave the solutions would be the answer to the problems we have, while forgetting that solution is similar to substance. What up, chat? Kev, hey, it's great to be back with you. It's true, and what I'd love to share with you is the acronym. I know you may have been reading Fully Committed. I hope you have. You can get it on Amazon under an audiobook for $25, I believe. You can get it through me for $25 plus shipping, and I will sign it and send it off to you direct. Or you can order it from Amazon directly without the signature and bring it to an event where you are welcome to get me to sign it, and I would be glad to do so. And if you wanted 5, then you could get it for $100 instead, because I'd like for you to have a free copy to be able to share, and then others will be able to benefit too. And if you want to do a mastermind on it, we will do that too. That is really what the intention for tonight is. Weaving stronger inner webs as part of your special practice. Special was part of the pilot program we just finished 2 weeks ago. We had a small but mighty crew who made it through those 9 weeks, each of us showing up every week, fully committed, ready to actually dive into each of the letters within the special practice. And now tonight, we're going to dig into the letters inner. Well, that's not an inner, that's a word. That's not an inner. That's not a letter, that's a word, which is made up of letters. And this is where we're going to make some distinctions. And I'm going to tell you that I'm going to be hosting a workshop about the words and the spells that are cast within the legal fiction that is not meant to last. And I flick my fingers to say, it's time for us to play in a different way. I would say it's time for us to step into our heart. Can you start to realize that the fiat currencies that we have traded so much of our team to deep? Strong. The fiat currency can't be wrong unless we see. Okay, control. Have you seen this? Troll, to harass, criticize, or antagonize someone, especially by provocatively disparaging or mocking public statements, postings, or acts. Con, something, such as a ruse, used deceptively to gain another's confidence. Not even kidding. Esteem is an opinion or judgment about someone or something's worth or value that determines the regard in which one is held. We respect what we esteem and we disrespect, that which we believe to be less than. What is truly ours cannot be walled off from us unless we put up walls within our own heart, which is the creative source of our reality, and which reflects the BS, writing the script of life as the one and only us there ever has or will be. Daring to do the inner work means dropping the walls of words that previously kept us feeling safely separate from that which we fear, and helps us find the silver lining of whatever situations we find ourselves in. Self-esteem is directly tied to our beliefs about ourselves, the world, and the people in it. And even though the current culture has savagely promoted sacrifice of self and others for the sake of profits and personal gain, it's time for us to shift our focus onto legacy, which are the legs that I can see as the woman that I stand on, fully present as me, needing no one represent me as other than I am, such would be a person or any other status, position, or title. But I digress. It's time for us to shift our focus onto legacy and contribution as the cause backing our efforts, backing our actions. I believe this is how we move ourselves back to the creative because, being the cause of, and of the cause and effect equation. This is how we shift from being reactive to creative and respect ourselves more for contributing to the world in the way only we can. For if we leave this world with our heart song left unsung, therefore it is why the graveyard has become the richest place in the whole world. I made some videos today, and one of them I did say that swearing using the F-bomb, if it should explode and offend you, please see what part of "the" is offendable, for it will be used against you by the court of law, which says anything you say can and will be used against you. And that was not an or, it was an and. Pay attention to every word, every letter too. Because if you do pay attention to the details, the devil will not eat you. As the entity, you will gain your identity from if you allow your need to be dropped so you could be knighted by one who was made to be other in order to knight you and make you into a status that would make you seem other than you are, which is quite extreme, I know. But Don Miguel Ruiz wrote a short but significant book called The Four Agreements, a Toltec wisdom guide, which reveals a powerful honor code to transform your life and enhance your self-esteem in the process. These 4 agreements are: be impeccable with your word, number 1. Number 2, don't take anything personally. Number 3, don't make assumptions. And number 4, always do your best. Dare I say these are foundational principles to keep in mind as you design the life you lead, as you become, being, and coming someone you respect because you trust yourself to act with honor. Doing so will absolutely strengthen your web of self-worth, self-esteem, and self-belief in a way that allows you to aim higher by allowing your desires to rise to the surface like the cream of the crop we previously thought we were not. Why? Because someone else walked through our inner kingdom, the personality of us, which are the personas we wear as we take on masks and veils of illusions. The e-veil that we wear over top of who we truly are and then say, oh, fail. Not good at that. Let me check that part of me out. Let me lock that door. Let me lose the key and let me just not be that which I don't like anymore. If not you, then who will do what you uniquely came to this world equipped for? Who will do it if you won't? Who will? You have the vision in you. Only you can do what you have the vision for. Your intuition, your guide, your soul hired ahead of time. Put the eye back and je suis, baby. That's where Jesus becomes je suis, and we see that he said, I am the fucking way. Not he is, I am are the creative words. They're wands. Yeah, he was the fucking way. Not he, I am. That's what he was trying to say. So he wasn't the way, he was pointing the way. He was saying, use those words. I am the way. You can say, I am the way. And then you too can play at a higher level, just like he showed. What if your whole reason for being born was to be on someone's path on the day they planned to be their last? And because you smiled at them when they thought no one cared whether they lived or died, they changed their mind and chose life. They chose to try. Because of you. What if that was your whole point and purpose of incarnating here and everything else is extra? Everything else is gravy. Everything else is clearing karma you didn't realize that you brought with you here, but those are moments of the past where you have lost aspects of yourself. What if everything else in your entire life was a bonus because you accomplished this trajectory changing task you had no idea meant everything to that soul in that moment? What if it were really that simple? You may not have worldly status, title, position, or prestige yet, but when you choose to lead your own life responsibly, you offer a vibrational example to those who see you as someone who cares, and they raise their own standard because of your example. Why we're here together, to gather in common unity and walk each other home to our own respective heart centers. For years, I've got to meet and interact with people in high places. Due to my willingness to get in rooms, trainings, and gatherings I felt called to attend, and the John Maxwell team was an absolute godsend. Absolutely, you become the average of the people you surround yourself with in the rooms you are willing to get yourself into. My travel buddy in Sedona taught me as much as Carolyn did in a trip I had spoke about, because the contrast that our shared desires for that experience conflicting taught me as much contrast to offer clarity I wouldn't have went out of my way to learn intentionally. Energetic boundaries were a common theme between all of these interactions that helped me gain clarity as to what's mine, what's being projected onto me, and what I've picked up that has served its purpose and is ready to be shifted. Growing up, the adults in my life have always seemed to have answers to my questions, and I thought that meant they were smarter than me because I wasn't so sure about things. I questioned things and noticed gaps I was insecure about, while other people seemed to know and trust the facts in a way I didn't. It was just like they pretended the gap wasn't there, and I thought, like, you must see it. I didn't realize maybe they actually couldn't or didn't. Maybe they didn't actually know the crack was there. That's why they didn't freak out when they got so close to it. And I'm like, dude, the fucking gap's right there. Stop. It's like slaughterhouse time, dude. Vulnerability and transparency have always been so important to me that I presumed others were just better at dealing with their insecurities than me. It hadn't occurred to me that most weren't digging for the roots of the BS, belief systems, bullshit, running their lives in the same committed way that I was. When I met Seth Godin at the International Maxwell Certification event I got to be Paul Martinelli's assistant at in 2017, he gave me a signed copy of his book, which I've kept in view for the last year as the cover, as a woman of a young as the cover has a picture of a young woman with piercing eyes and a title that reads, "What to do when it's your turn." And it's always your turn. Indeed, it is. I do believe that I have that somewhere around here, but I don't know in this moment, and I'm going to go to the part that I was looking for when I started this, which was to actually share the definition of fiat. Fiat, page 210. An authoritative or arbitrary order, determination, decree, or dictate. Fiat money is legal tender, paper money or coins that have face values far exceeding their commodity values and are not redeemable in gold or silver. Essentially, what that means is that the current currencies are backed by nothing but the faith and trust we've given to the corrupted hands hired to care for the public's interest, which is where the lie falls flat. We are living in a mixed war between the public and the private during an attempted corporatocratic takeover that requires men and women to act against our better judgment, to go along with an evil agenda that limits free will and destroys the inheritance of future generations. Corporatocracy refers to an economic, political, and judicial system controlled by corporations or corporate interests. Here's what the corpse doesn't tell those signing or acting on its behalf. The men and women with the conscience to choose is fully liable for all harm caused by the script they approve. Menticide was meant to dumb down the general public and make sure we forgot who and whose we are, and the indoctrination programs taught us what to think instead of how to do it. The planning was intense and orchestrated, like a well-oiled machine we've all been cogs in, focused on our role without seeing the whole picture and how deadly the machine's intentions are. We were fed lies from the time we emerged from the womb of mothers who'd been traumatized and contracted into a disempowered state too. Those who noticed the evil were locked up or taken out of circulation so as to not infect others with the unrest a zest for life brings up in the hearts of creative beings like we are. Except some of us woke up and faced our fears so they could not be used against us because we have nothing to hide we aren't willing to own up to. We will no longer carry the cross meant to hang us up to dry out on like I experienced when I tried to say my purpose was far greater than my status suggested. Others doubted me because they had yet to see the vision that was in me to bring forward. This is just one piece of the puzzle that will make up the legacy I leave behind me as one fully committed to being the best I can be without needing anyone to be less for my choosing to stand in my power. You can too, right beside me. I remember hearing Oprah Winfrey say that her best friend, Gail King, never stood in her shadow because she stood by Oprah's side in her own light without fright that others cared more for her companion. Some will, some won't. Who cares? Next. It's an MLM, multi-level marketing expression that you just got to keep talking, keep asking. Every no is closer to a yes. Keep going for no, and then you'll get your yes eventually if you're willing to persist. What we resist persists. What persists subsists, resists, persists, consists of the life. That is what our life consists of. What we resist persists, and then what persists becomes what our life consists of. There, it's all about the cysts. But if we have cysts, then we should actually look into why. And if we apply other systems that already exist, such as what I'm now learning about German New Medicine through Jordi Lishman, obviously being my partner now, I get the inside scoop, and he has taken 15 years of his life to learn enough to be able to say, oh, there's an emotional cause to a spiritual dysregulation that is affecting the nervous system, which is why you feel so nervous. So let's settle your system and help you actually through the transition of the energies in motion that need to move in order for you to be able to heal and then approve use of the vessel. We are the living souls incarnate here to live a life worthy of telling a story about. And while the storyteller always has creative liberties with the details, our task is to care for one another and bring down the walls of Jericho within our own hearts so that we stop leaving one another out in the cold alone when we are meant to be all one in a better reality where no one gets left behind. For far too long, the status quo has kept the lid on our self-image low. For far too long, the status quo has kept the lid on our self-image low to the point where many limbo and tiptoe through lives they let others decide on for them based on illusory limits. Quo, something received or given for something else. Status, position, or rank in relation to others. How do I get the book from you? If you send me an email to laura@ljeh.ca, then you are going to be able to get that copy. And actually, I do have a PayPal link. I'll have to get that set up. Make sure you're subscribed to ljeh.ca, please. And thank you for your support. I sincerely appreciate it. I am really excited for this message to be getting out, because ultimately what we must do is actually shift our frequency and vibration, which is why album 23 is a project that we are now turning the lights on for. Turn the lights on, turn the lights on, turn the lights on, baby. It's getting hot in here. What do you say? I want to play at a higher level. Holy Spirit, activate. Ay, ay, ay. I want to be whole. I don't know why I have to be less. I want to be whole. I want to stand in my power, and I want you to do the same. And then I want to be able to dress up and to also say that I am not that which I'm pretending to be in that moment. Oh my goodness. My boots were making me too hot, and now I am not. So tired looking. Now the lipstick would make me take on a different look, and I say it's actually more relevant to what I wrote as the topic of today, because do you not see how image is connected to the way we present ourselves publicly? It's not the Bronze Age, but I want to play with bronze today. Did you know the major arcana in the tarot? We're actually characters that we will go through, playing as we move through the sacred sojourn of the soul. It's true. When you do move through the sacred sojourn and the tarot too, consciously, then you'll see that it's actually not the highest compliment to be a king, because he is only master of one suit. I'd prefer the wizard who isn't even a character in a game, because he claims the right to create his own way, a wizard's way, where he is able to share the wisdom. He shares the wisdom in his heart. Let me start pretending to be other than me. You might see a different side. I try to hide how tired I might look. I think I'm going to have to take a chance to put on a different wig and to show the transformation fully. When I try to put on an identity, you wouldn't recognize me, as if you hadn't seen Me transform in front of your eyes. You might say, I don't know, maybe it's her cousin, or just she looks so different. When actually down up is what we say. Fully cooked is not the way I want to be fully presented, it's true. But then look at those heels. Those were what I originally thought I would wear on the catwalk this weekend at Soul's Path. One moment, I might need two. It won't be more than just a few of them. An image alterer. What do you think? Do you think I'll look okay in this I love? Because I was the one who wore it with my grandma and my aunt, just because we found it one day in Clarence's, which was the name of my mom's dad, which was my grandpa on the other side. And I got this for $25, I believe, with tax. That is true. Or maybe it was only $22.60. Is that not what the tax would come to? If it were $20, let's see. What do you think? Okay, so this is actually very relevant, because if we actually look at the identity, as you see me to be now, you have my curly hair version of me. And then sometimes you have a straight version of me. And sometimes you have a soulful version. Well, hopefully always a soulful version of me. If it's not being soulful, then it ain't me. And then you're being deceived, because I ain't soulful. We got a problem. We got a problem, because if I'm not fun, feeling fun, oh God, my nose. Oh, well then I guess I just popped the idea that was not jiving with me. If I'm gonna just try to not hide my hair underneath of there. How friggin' crazy to live in a world where it's kind of like normal for people to have monologues like I'm doing while putting on a wig in front of you, talking about self-image and self-esteem. But I think that this conversation is much overdue indeed. Okay, here we go. So let this version of me tell you. Let my see a version of me. Let my see a version of me tell you the way it's going to be, if we are willing to see how we have been deceived. Hey, come on. How are we going to be able to see the eyes of the one underneath of the wig? Now I look really white indeed, so I just moved it to the side, and then I say, how is that? How is that? Does that make me like a different decade now? I like the little wig ones, the little short ones once in a while. Here we go, little fun ones. Here we go. So, here we go. Looks nice. Thank you. Am I of Irish descent? Well, in fact, I am Irish in descent, and Scottish, and English, and German, and French, and a little bit of Heinz 57, because I'm an Irish mutt. An Irish mutt, not an Irish mutt, my apologies. That might have sounded like smut, I don't know, and I didn't mean to offend, and if you took offense, that's you to have been offended, so I apologize that you had it in you. that I activated and triggered it, but you can release it in this moment if you choose to. And you do need to know that there will be the momentums of energies that get stirred up and activated when you stir the energies in motion that you stuck in the past, depressed, compressed, repressed, depressed, denied, pretended didn't exist, tried to hide in the kingdom of you, and now suddenly they're being activated and coming back and they're like, fuck you. Well, don't be offended. You were like that to them too. So hey, okay, let's go. Let's take off a layer and see how we do with the week. Not too bad, you just gotta change a little bit and then you get to name your price, because your fame is determined by the game you can make for the corps you work for. Know that every celebrity has an agenda. They're trying to look after them and theirs. And I say that we gotta look after us and ours. There's no them. In the end, it's all us. We're on the same mothership. Plenty T is where we're at. It is where it's all happening. It's all happening now. We can change our hair or paint our lips or change our shirts or throw our things around. It's 4, 4, 4, 4. No, it's 8:44. What's more is that could be the way we break it down. 8:44. It's true that you could do anything you want to. I wear a ring because I bought it for myself. When I wrote the book, fully committed, I committed to myself. Didn't want to wait for anyone to have to feel the pressure to put one on me, so I just put one on me and I wear it on my own sometimes and use it if I don't want to be hit on. I say, hey, sorry, it's a great way to say please go away. I'm not no longer on the market. You can't buy me. I'm already bought. Hook, line, and sinker. Sought after. No longer because I'm fully committed. That's the way we can be if we choose to be to ourselves. And if we do that, then everyone else does too. Who's number 2 in the room? I asked because of your singing cadence. I think it's true. I'd imagine so. When I was in high school, I'd often take on an Irish accent. When I'd smoke weed, I'd take one on right then. And then I'd say, indeed, I'm strange. And then I liked it even more because it took me out of the frame to where I'd not been before. And so I say, hey, I like to be heard. So does the cat. Why, hello, my love. He's come down. So Mama Cat had 4 babies in the spring. I have helped look after them and feed them, and my dad too when I've been away. We all have chipped in with these 4 little baby kittens. One of them got hit on the road about a month after they were born. So we have 3 plus Mama. Well, I don't even know how long, but not long after she had the first few, she got pregnant again. And then she had at least 3 on September 9th. And those she abandoned because one had a defect, apparently. I got them into Perfect Companions in Delhi, which is a phenomenal agency if you are in need of a kitten or feline companion, if you want a wee lion by your side in your house to be cared for and loved, well, then you can call Perfect Companions. And they've got over 600 cats. It's crazy. I know I'm not the crazy cat lady, but I do have 4 for now. But this week is when I'm meant to deal with it. So I'm going to be getting rid of a couple. And if you want one, and you're going to love it and be kind to it, and you're going to look after it for life, that's when then you're allowed to look at my cats. Otherwise, I'm going to have to take them to Perfect Companions and pretend that they're going to go to the perfect place in hopes that they do. And I won't know either way, which is kind of better that way, sometimes we say, because I don't want to know the fate if it's not going to be a good one. I don't want to feel guilty that I took them off of their home farm where they were born, you know. How similar is this to what's happening in your world? Why am I telling you this story? Why are you listening to me out of any other place that you could be? In this reality, why are you here with me? This weird woman in a wig, painted lips, chaos, in and around, because that's how life is. And I'm working on a mission without permission, no payment. It's been a long time. But, you know, the thing about a vocation, career you get paid for, bigger bucks because you've moved out of the job terrain. Where it's just 9 to 5 and you leave your job. You don't even think about it until you gotta log back on and do it again and then log out and done for the day until the workday comes again. It always does until it doesn't, because we see that we do not need to earn our way. We just need to take the vote back in the ballot box of our inner kingdom, which is actually what earn means. Did you know? With a U-R-N-E, that is a ballot box. Isn't it interesting that after you take the joy out of the journey, that's all that's left in the end, and earn? We don't need to earn our way, my friend. We just need to be ourselves. That in the end is the prize. Everything else, we get to say goodbye. No longer do we get our identity from the entity outside of us. We instead look inside of us and say, I am enough. I'm enough, I'm enough, I'm enough, I'm enough, I'm enough, I'm enough, I'm enough. I feel like I am racing in the races. I am the chariot, the major arcana card, I say with luck. You can take yourself to the place you want to go if you are willing to do what is actually required, which is action. Those are the most important 6 letters in the law of attraction. You've actually got to take action if you want to get to the thing that you say you do. Well, then you have to move yourself. It is true. You are the one you have been waiting for. If you are the one you've been waiting for, then you must do what you have on your heart, or you'll make the graveyard a place you made richer because your heart song went there instead of into the universe. The one song we are all singing along to, vibrationally, the ripple effect we send out into the radio waves. I'm okay. I'm okay, I'm okay, I'm okay, I'm okay, I'm okay. I said I'm okay to myself when I was not okay. It's okay, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. I didn't say I'm okay, I said it's okay. Because I wasn't okay, but it could be okay. It could be okay. It's okay, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. I talked to myself and then it was like, oh, wow, I feel like it's actually true. Whoa, my words have power. I am okay. It is okay. Whew, it's okay. It's okay. That is how we call ourselves home. Tap. EFT, emotional freedom technique, is a great technique. You start with the karate chop. Even though I feel this way, I love and accept myself anyway. Even though I found this, I love and accept myself anyway. Even though I wish for this and don't feel enough, I love and accept myself anyway. And then you go through your voice and nice. Your voice sounds nice and made me feel better. Yay, June, I'm glad. Good. Tap that one out, baby. Just let your nervous system actually settle you into the now. This is what happens. Then you tap the eyebrow point. We're actually working the meridian systems. I don't know them well enough. We do the end of the eyebrow point. Then under the eyebrow. Under the nose. Under the nose. Under the lips. under the lips, on the collarbone, underneath the arms, and back around a few times. And first time, you can actually tap that out. That's called EFT, Emotional Freedom Technique. You're actually first going through, it's like, even though I feel this way, I love and accept myself anyway. Even though, I'm feeling this, like, feel it, feel it, feel it, feel it, feel it, feel it. Oh yeah, feel it in your body. Get in there. Yeah, have some fun with it, right? Play with yourself. You don't have to do it sexually. Our innocence was totally co-opted. We couldn't have an inner sense anymore. We couldn't be like, oh my God, it feels good to be me, right? Like, we couldn't be so sexy because of what someone else might be like, oh, like that activated and triggered in you. Like, you don't need to tell me that. Please don't, in fact. Like, that's yours. This is mine. I can enjoy me. You can enjoy you. But don't violate me by trying to impose your enjoyment of you onto me, right? Just because I'm what you could see doesn't mean you get to, like, get, in the energy of it. Because ultimately, each of us who are on the stage, on the screen, behind the screen, so to speak, it's like each of us have energy that we need to protect, like a container, just as you do. And in the moment where you're watching me trigger you, to activate emotions from the past to come up in the now, that's how we strengthen our inner web. We actually come to see the self-worth, self-esteem, self-belief, and inner security that is no longer insecure of not feeling safe inside, but actually has inner security because we've created a sense of home we can access anytime. It's portable. I'm home here. I'm home when I'm with Jordy. I'm home when I'm anywhere else. I'm home because I'm here in me, right? It's just like, I'm home because I can come home anytime. I have a chapter in the book about homeless heroes, and that was a homeless woman named Linda that actually taught me that we're all homeless until we come home to ourselves. And I'm so grateful because that experience was on the streets of Vegas early in the morning. It's chapter 16 on page 83 if you're interested. In the book that took 5 years to write in 1 month, and then edit in another, then record. Okay, so 8:55. Any questions around the inner webs experience? Because ultimately, this will not be how it happens in weeks to come. However, it happened this one because people didn't sign up. And I would like to actually play with some real people. So if you want to play with words with me, if you want to move some energy with me, if you want to reconnect with your intuition, if you want to actually nurture the child within and move it into the sacred side where it can be the parent of, the guardian of your innocence, your inner sense, this knowing within you, the child moves into the sacred side and like, oh my, it feels good to be here. So safe and supported and loved. Oh, yay. Feel that, right? That's what I wish for you. Now, I am going to end this evening by actually reading the third part of Florence Scovel Shin's The Game of Life and How to Play It. I am doing so because it's on the power of the word, and I believe we may also actually do the law of non-resistance too. So we'll do 2 while I have the wig on, and then I'm going to edit those and get those posted. I've got the first one up, the second one I need to post up yet, and then there will be 2 more, and there's only 10 chapters in the Game of Life in total anyway. So very exciting times. The law of prosperity is what I'm going to edit next. And here now is the power of the word. So let me get myself oriented and have some tea because I am a cat lover, you see. Oh, if you would please share this message with someone who would benefit from hearing it, I would very much appreciate that. Also, I am just going to share this message to my Instagram. So please do bear with me. Oh, message with someone who would benefit. Here we go. Oh, I see there's a big contribution from someone. Wait, let me Instagram. Did it not go down to the bottom? Oh, I thought it was longer, but it wasn't. So I would say we need to stop talking about all of the well, you can't just stop talking about things that are happening, but at the same time, we have to stop selling fear in a different package. The truth is ugly if there isn't a safer solution, which is why album 23 is now available. We had our last meeting on the 22nd. We're going to have our next one on the 11th of December, and it's going to be epic, and it totally ties into these meetings here as well. So, the game of life. Please do share this message with someone you care to. Put it on your social media pages. Send it in a messenger chat group. The game of life. And how to play it. How to play it with Red by Laura J. Namaste. Right here, it's true. Here we go. Checking connection. You're live now and reversed side. Yay. Oh my God, it looks like I have two arms coming out of my my boobs. This is the Game of Life and How to Play It by Florence Scovel Shinn in the complete works of Florence Scovel Shinn. And so we're going to begin. The power of the word. By thy words thou shalt be justified, and by thy words thou shalt be condemned. A person knowing the power of the word becomes very careful of his conversation. He has only to watch the reaction of his words to know that they do not return void. Through a spoken word, man is continually making laws for himself. I knew a man who said, I always miss a car. It invariably pulls out just as I arrive. His daughter said, I always catch a car. It's sure to come just as I get there. This occurred for years. Each had made a separate law for himself, one of failure, one of success. This is the psychology of superstitions. The horseshoe, or rabbit's foot, contains no power, but man's spoken word and belief that it will bring him good luck creates expectancy in the subconscious mind and attracts a lucky situation. I find, however, this will not work when a man has advanced spiritually and knows a higher law. One cannot turn back and must put away graven images. For example, two men in my class had had great success in business for several months when suddenly everything went to smash. We tried to analyze the situation, and I found instead of making their affirmations and looking to God for success and prosperity, they had each bought a lucky monkey. I said, oh, I see, you have been trusting in the lucky monkeys instead of God. Put away the lucky monkeys and call on the law of forgiveness, for man has power to forgive or neutralize his mistakes. They decided to throw the lucky monkeys down a coal hole, and all went well again. This does not mean, however, that one should throw away every lucky ornament or horseshoe about the house, but he must recognize that the power back of it is the one and only power, God, and that the object simply gives him a feeling of expectancy. I was with a friend one day who was in deep despair. In crossing the street, she picked up a horseshoe. Immediately, she was filled with joy and hope. She said God had sent her the horseshoe in order to keep up her courage. It was indeed, at that moment, about the only thing that could have registered in her consciousness. Her hope became faith, and she ultimately made a wonderful demonstration. I wish to make the point clear that the men previously mentioned were depending on the monkeys alone, while this woman recognized the power back of the horseshoe. I know in my own case, it took a long while to get out of a belief that a certain thing brought disappointment. If the thing happened, disappointment invariably followed. I found the only way I could make a change in the subconscious was by asserting, there are not two powers, there is only one power, God. Therefore, there are no disappointments, and this thing means a happy surprise. I noticed a change at once, and happy surprises commenced coming my way. I have a friend who said nothing could induce her to walk under a ladder. I said, if you are afraid, you are giving in to a belief in two powers, good and evil, instead of one. As God is absolute, there can be no opposing power unless man makes the false of evil for himself. To show you, believe only in one power, God, and that there is no power or reality in evil. Walk under the ladder you see. Soon after, she went to her bank. She wished to open her box in the safety deposit vault, and there stood a ladder on her pathway. It was impossible to reach the box without passing under the ladder. She quailed with fear and turned back. She could not face the lion on her pathway. However, when she reached the street, my words rang in her ears, and she decided to return and walk under it. It was a big moment in her life, for ladders had held her in bondage for years. She retraced her steps to the vault, and the ladder was no longer there. This so often happens. If one is willing to do a thing he is afraid to do, he does not have to. It is the law of non-resistance, which is so little understood. Someone has said that courage contains genius and magic. Face a situation fearlessly, and there is no situation to face. It falls away of its own weight. The explanation is that fear attracted the ladder on the woman's pathway, and fearlessness removed it. Thus, the invisible forces are ever working for man, who is always pulling the strings himself, though he does not know it. Owing to the vibratory power of words, whatever man voices he begins to attract. People who continually speak of disease invariably attract it. After man knows the truth, he cannot be too careful of his words. For example, I have a friend who often says on the phone, do come to see me and have a fine old-fashioned chat. This old-fashioned chat means an hour of about 500 to 1,000 destructive words, the principal topics being loss, lack, failure, and sickness. I reply, no thank you. I've had enough old-fashioned chats in my life. They are too expensive. But I will be glad to have a new-fashioned chat and talk about what we want, not what we don't want. There is an old saying that man only dares use his words for three purposes, to heal, bless, or prosper. What man says of others will be said of him, and what he wishes for another he is wishing for himself. Curses, like chickens, come home to roost. If a man wishes someone bad luck, he is sure to attract bad luck himself. If he wishes to aid someone to success, he is wishing and aiding himself to success. The body may be renewed and transformed through the spoken word and clear vision, and disease be completely wiped out of the consciousness. The metaphysician knows that all disease has a mental correspondence. All disease has a mental correspondence, and in order to heal the body, one must first heal the soul. The soul is the subconscious mind, and it must be saved from wrong thinking. In the 23rd Psalm, we read, He restoreth my soul. This means that the subconscious mind or soul must be restored with the right ideas, and the mystical marriage is the marriage of the soul and the spirit, or the subconscious and superconscious mind. They must be one. When the subconscious is flooded with the perfect ideas of the superconscious, God and man are one. I and the Father are one. That is, he is one with the realm of perfect ideas. He is the man made in God's likeness and image, imagination, and is given power and dominion over all created things, his mind, body, and affairs. It is safe to say that all sickness and unhappiness come from the violation of the law of love. A new commandment I give unto you, love one another, and in the game of life, love or goodwill takes every trick. For example, a woman I know had for years an appearance of a terrible skin disease. The doctors told her it was incurable, and she was in despair. She was on the stage, and she feared she would soon have to give up her profession, and she had no other means of support. She, however, procured a good engagement, and on the opening night made a great hit. She received flattering notices from the critics and was joyful and elated. The next day, she received a notice of dismissal. A man in the cast had been jealous of her success and had caused her to be sent away. She felt hatred and resentment taking complete possession of her, and she cried out, "Oh God, don't let me hate that man." That night she worked for hours in the silence. She said, "I soon came into a very deep silence. I seemed to be at peace with myself, with the man, and with the whole world. I continued this for two following nights, and on the third night I found I was healed completely of the skin disease. In asking for love or goodwill, she had fulfilled the law, for love is the fulfilling of the law, and the disease, which came from subconscious resentment, was wiped out. Continual criticism produces rheumatism, as critical and harmonious thoughts cause unnatural deposits in the blood, which settle in the joints. False growths are caused by jealousy, hatred, unforgiveness, fear, etc. Every disease is caused by a mind not at ease. I said once in my class, there is no use asking anyone what's the matter with you. We might just as well say, who's the matter with you? Unforgiveness is the most prolific cause of disease. It will harden arteries or liver and affect the eyesight. In its train are endless ills. I called on a woman one day who said she was ill from having eaten a poisoned oyster. I replied, "Oh no, the oyster was harmless. You poisoned the oyster. What's the matter with you?" She answered, "Oh, about 19 people. She had quarreled with 19 people and had become so inharmonious that she attracted the wrong oyster. Any inharmony on the external indicates there is mental inharmony. As the within, so the without. Man's only enemies are within himself, and a man's foes shall be they of his own household. Personality is one of the last enemies to overcome. Personality is one of the last enemies to be overcome, as this planet is taking its initiation in love. It was Christ's message, peace on earth, goodwill towards man. The enlightened man therefore endeavors to perfect himself upon his neighbor. His work is with himself, to send out goodwill and blessings to every man, and the marvelous thing is that if one blesses a man, he has no power to harm man. But if one blesses a man, he has no power to harm him. For example, a man came to me asking to treat for success in business. He was selling machinery, and a rival appeared on the scene with what he proclaimed was a better machine, and my friend feared defeat. I said, first of all, we must wipe out all fear, and know that God protects your interests, and that the divine idea must come out of the situation. That is, the right machine will be sold by the right man to the right man. And I added, don't hold one critical thought toward that man. Bless him all day, and be willing not to sell your machine if it isn't the divine idea. So he went to the meeting, fearless and non-resistant, and blessing the other man. He said the outcome was very remarkable. The other man's machine refused to work, and he sold his without the slightest difficulty. But I say unto you, love your enemies, bless them that curse you, do good to them that hate you, and pray for them which spitefully use you and persecute you. Goodwill produces a great aura of protection about the one who sends it, and no weapon that is formed against him shall prosper. In other words, love and goodwill destroy the enemies within one's life. Therefore, no one has no enemies on the external. Well, in other words, love and goodwill destroy the enemy. In other words, love and goodwill destroy the enemies within oneself. Therefore, one has no enemies on the external. There is peace on earth for him who sends goodwill to man, and who is willing to claim it for himself. The law of non-resistance comes next, and I'm tired. It's been a long day. I'm going to say we're going to read that and the law of karma and the law of forgiveness in the next one. So thank you for joining in this evening. We'll come back again soon. Toodaloo, Laura J. Lawrence Scovel Shin, The Game of Life and How to Play It. That was the chapter on the power of the word. Well, hide that one, hide that one, hide that one, end report so that these inappropriate people are not able to share what is inappropriate for us all. Okay? And so thank you, thank you, thank you. You're so welcome. I appreciate your appreciation. And I am going to be back again soon with more. I will get this out, and I've got quite a few exciting things in the works right now. So I hope you enjoyed my made up version of me's delivery of what is there. And we'll be back again very soon to do a part 2. It's 111 in my recording. And so that is a number all about new beginnings. 913 is about endings and then reappropriations of a number that was great and then was made to be really bad. And now we're reappropriating and making our own and saying, hey, that's a really good time, date. It works for me, and that's good enough. So make it work for you. But we have to do what only we can while we're here, as I've said many times this evening. So I look forward to hearing your comments when you listen back to the replay. Like I said, if you're not already subscribed to my website, ljeh.ca, please make sure that you do sign up so that you can get emails, and you can also let me know that you would like a copy of my book. I am working on the email sequence so that you can get offered the book right quickly when you are in the series, the sequence of emails that you'll receive automatically. And then I also do write regularly as well. Less regularly lately, but that's because I've been actually creating a system for the long term, which is a money later activity from the perspective that it takes a lot of effort to do the back end. And then when you finally do it and you show it to everybody, everybody's like, oh my God, it's amazing. And it's just like, yeah, I told you about this. I've talked about this for years. And it's just like, yeah, but they couldn't see the vision because it was in here, right? So it's finally happening. So the same will be true for whatever it is that you are willing to take action towards too.